Hello, beautiful people. I hope you are having a wonderful day. And today we are inside of our little home right here, but we are a couple levels down from, well, actually one level down from our storage. So today we are going to be working on autocrafting, which is really exciting and much easier than one would think. So I'm setting up right now just a simple array of auto crafting setups, and I'll show you. So the main part of the auto crafting is this little crafting interface. Now if you know, tell me, but I thought, you know, since the text right here instead of the crafting writer would be starts crafting jobs, that's what it would be, and I lost a whole lot of time trying to make this work, but turns out it's a crafting interface that does all the work. We are going to need also some cards. Okay, so this is a importer. Item importer imports items into the network. So once the crafting is done, we just want the crafting, well, what we just crafted to go right back into our storage. So we're gonna put a blank variable card right up here, import all items. Perfect. And now the best part about this crafting is that if you don't know, Refined Storage has its own crafting setup, and well, you have to build a crafter. I'm gonna show you right here, crafter. I'm gonna have to make these bad boys, and they are, I won't say slow, they're fine, but they're quite more expensive to make than a simple crafting table. They do have some options that I don't know how to replicate just yet, but since this, if you can see this as an early game crafting option, then you'll be happy with this. I'm just gonna go right here to get up. Okay, so I'll show you how this works. Let's say, for example, we want to automate, well, not automate, but yeah, automate the crafting of logic cables, since we will most likely need more in the future. Let's go into the portable logic programmer and let's write recipe, and then we can go like so. Now we put a variable card in here, and it shows us the variable type is a recipe, and the value is exactly what we want. We get it out, we put it in here, and this tells us that it's a valid recipe for the target block, which is the crafting table. And now if we go inside of right here and we write cable, we should see right here, these are the ones that we have already, and these are the ones that we want to craft. So let's say we want to craft 300. Next, it's going to tell us it's going to take what it's going to take. It says fine, and then we can see it right here going up. That's pretty awesome. Now, another thing we can do is, if we go right here, then integrated dynamics, we will want a crafting job terminal. We're gonna need some of these, and if I can find it, we're gonna need 2 of you. And what's the last thing we need? Perfect. Now this will all be automated in the future, but if we go right here and add a cable, we can see let's say we do some cables again, and we say let's make 10. Start the crafting, and we go in here. You can see, well, it went by pretty fast, but you can see that everything was done perfectly. And we can see it, like, if there's a problem, let's say we start a couple crafting recipes in the same time. It says, like, we have enough redstone, for example, and, well, one recipe uses up all our redstone, then inside here, it'll show us what's missing. Now, one more thing that's really interesting with the automated crafting, I'm gonna take some nether quartz. I'm going to take some blaze rods, and we'll make a furnace. We'll take a furnace. This is just to show you, so it won't be super, like, it won't be super expensive, but I think an iron furnace is going to be better because we can choose, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, where the input and the output goes. Perfect. So let's go downstairs and let us make, let's go one more down, and let's say right here we don't want it to be a crafting table, we would want it to be a furnace. That's perfect. We go, input goes from the top and output goes from the bottom. It was already set up right. So next up, what we would do is we go inside of our logic programmer, we write recipe, and then we go like so. And we put a variable card to show us a recipe, and then we put it right here. And once again, we get the green check mark. We put the fuel in here. Obviously, if you wanted to keep it automated, you would either give it some power or give it something else, but let's just put some blaze rods for right now. And now if we go with silicone, we already have 600, but let's say we want 100 more. We'd do craft, and you see it popping up right here. If we go upstairs, we will also see their crafting status, and yeah, it's that simple. Pretty awesome, right? I'm gonna set it up a bit more not right, but a little bit more permanently, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alrighty, so I did a little bit of crafting, and well, I did a little bit of crafting, and I set up a few recipes just because I wanted to show you how practical this is. Let's say I want to make a crafting interface like we've been using, but we don't have everything inside of our storage system. So this is gonna craft like the input variables that we need, the crafting tables that we need since we don't have them, and it shows us everything that it's going to need in total. Now I even put pistons and sticky pistons inside of the crafting recipe, so if we needed it, it would be able to do it. For example, piston, we have 26, but if we need some, it's going to autocraft it, and we see it all here. Now there are some more complicated autocrafting scenarios, let's call them. For example, how do you make, I think we can see it right here, Menril glass. If I can find it, let's just search it, Menril glass. So we need a drying basin. We need a drying basin with Menril inside of it, and then, well, actually we need a drying basin with glass, and then we need to put Menril resin inside of it. Now if we do need this, it's going to be really hard to automate, but I'll show you exactly what I mean on how you can still make it autocraftable. And well, I just want to show you. So burp. Alrighty. So I made it work for the Menril class automator. It was somewhat, once you understand how this system works, it's actually quite easy to autocraft almost anything. So what I did right here is I connected our crafting interface for Menril glass to a barrel. So basically, once we want to craft something from our network, let's say we'll go to Menril glass, we click right here, and this is what it sends to, basically the if I can find the word, the ingredients for our recipe. So I'll show you exactly how I made this variable card, because it's a little bit different than what you would usually do. So let's find a recipe. We'll put this in here, and we'll be like, the output is going to be Menril glass, and the input is going to be one Menril log and one glass. And this is not a real recipe, because if you can see that this is like the only way to do it. Now, another way we could do this is with fluids, but I have not set up fluids inside of my integrated dynamics network yet, so we worked with this instead. So let's say we want to craft 11 Menril glass. It's going to need 11 Menril logs and 11 glass. We press craft. Now it sends everything in here. And now if we go right up here, this is a item interface, and basically this becomes its miniature integrated dynamics item network. And this is just like the item interface is like, okay, this is our storage network. This we can't see it, but basically it imports into this machine only glass always, and this pulls Menril logs always. So we can see it work. Basically puts Menril glass, and at the same time it puts some logs inside of the mechanical squeezer. And I'm gonna start another batch of crafting just so we can keep seeing it. So yeah, it receives a log, squeezes it into juice, which is sent automatically right here. And once it's received, turns it into Menril glass, and here is an export all. Well, import all into our system. The interesting part is that we make crystallized Menril chunks as a byproduct. But yeah, it was pretty simple. And when I was doing this, I ran around and I saw our old little thing right here that had a lot of byproducts like Menril saplings, sticks, Menril berries, and coarse flowers. And I think I can make it much better now that I understand integrated dynamics much better. So I'm gonna try and change it real quick, and I'll explain to you how it works so you can get maybe a fine understanding of this absolutely great mod. Alrighty, so I tried to perfect this setup, and I think I did a good job, but it was so much more complicated than it needed to be, just because these mechanical drying basin and the mechanical squeezer is so finicky. Like, it absolutely only wants to receive items from I don't even remember. Okay, so this one receives item only from the bottom, I think, but you can extract from the back some fluids. And this one can only receive items from the top. Anyway, it was much more complicated than it needed to be, and just to make it tidy, I used a wireless block charger so we don't have these red cables popping everywhere. So the basic premise is everything that's from these two botany pots are extracted into our storage. Then on each machine we only receive what we want. So this is the block that is sent to our big storage. So in here there's a list of all the items all the final products from this farm. For example, some coarse flour that we don't want to put inside of the redstone furnace, so that's a final product. So is the Menril saplings, the sticks, and the Menril berries. So if I show you, let's say, I think we're gonna get, and I also need to extract these, which is not done yet, but that's going to be fairly simple because we can extract from the bottom, so it won't be a problem. But basically, it extracts, it puts it inside of our storage. The storage then pushes it, if we can see it right here, into the mechanical squeezers, squeezes everything. Now, when we get a coarse fruit, I'll put 3 in there, it gets pushed into the furnace, which is then automatically pushed into the mechanical squeezer. I don't know why it accepts from the side from this furnace, but hey, it works. So we don't need any cables in here. And then the mechanical squeezer, I auto push from the back, which is a kind of a way I managed to skip extracting or pushing from the top or bottom, even though I don't exactly know how they work. You can press this to auto eject to adjacent blocks, which is a tank right here. The tank right here extracts and puts it inside of... No! Oh my god, inside of these bad boys. And I guess I'm gonna have to change that. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back, and this time it works perfectly. So what we did was I finally bit the bullet and learned how to do it with how to work with fluids inside of an integrated dynamics network. It was pretty much the exact same thing, so it wasn't that hard. I basically extract all of the fluids from the basins. I put them inside of a quote-unquote an actual fluid storage, which is the fluid tank up here and up here, and just to make sure that they don't get mixed up, I filtered it for the bottom one being only Menril resin and the top one being only liquid coarse. Now after that we extract it from the network, which is these two tanks, and put it inside of our mechanical drying basins. And after that we take the items, we put them back into our network, and then this bad boy has a list of everything and it takes it into our big storage, which I'm gonna have to add all of these bad boys to. So it turns out it was quite a lot more complicated than I thought. I thought it would be a 2-minute project, and it turned out into almost a 45-minute thing. But it's a lot cleaner. I would assume it creates much less lag, specifically if we go up here into every interface and we divide by 10 the number of actions that it does every second. that is of course going to help with lag, but it's also visually, and let's be honest, that's the most important part, visually much more appealing. I hope you enjoyed this video, because it's actually going to allow us to do much more interesting things. Like just right here with this, we got, I think, 5 new items that are going to be completely automated, just because we can actually harvest everything that these 2 botany pots do. But also we saved on 1 mechanical squeezer. We reduced the lag. It's much cleaner looking, and we're gonna do, next up we might tackle this monstrosity and try to make it much cleaner. Well, if you liked the video, like, and I hope I will see you again. Bye bye.